Welcome, everyone, to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures. Get ready for unedited, unfiltered, and unbiased talks with Polly and Kristin, because life is unedited. Are you ready to experience your highest vibrational life, seek truth, and improve your overall wellness? You're in the right place. With tales of psychic experiences and expansive living, we are covering topics that bring the mystical into our everyday lives. Intrigued? Call us now at 1-800-930-2819. We are guiding callers toward their highest expression of self. You get not one, but two psychic life coaches. Your soul's sacred journey to truth is important to us. No question is too big or too small. Stay tuned. You're about to join in on a wild psychic ride. Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures starts now. Hey, welcome to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures. I'm Kristin, one of your co-hosts, with my friend Polly here.
Hi, Kristin. Hi, everyone.
How's it going, Polly?
Oh my God, it's so good. It's like, it's that perfect time of the year. There's two perfect times of the year, like right before summer and then right at the end of the summer. It's so
pleasant. So pleasant. We are two intuitive life coaches here for you. So I want to remind you, call in 1-800-930-2819. And that actually is really important to us. We're going to be covering the topic of manifesting. But give us a call because we'll touch on anything. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if you want us to pull a card for you, we are here for you. So feel free to give us a call. You don't even have to give us your name if you would prefer to be anonymous. But again, sure. I'm Kristin, a life coach. I own Garage Pilates in Orange County. I'm an energy healer, a Reiki practitioner, and I am here with my friend Polly, who you can break it down for the people what you're all about.
So I'm a psychic, a life coach, and I teach psychic development classes, do psychic readings and coaching. I write, so you can find my writing, and it's about all spiritual topics. And that's on Eden Magazine or Your Tango. And how I started my journey, just in case you're wondering, like, why would I even listen to these two people? Because frequently people are yammering on about whatever. I'm like, why would I listen to you? So give us a chance. But I started, so I always had some abilities, even when I was like very little, but didn't really, what are you going to do? Have your little psychic sign up when you're 4, but just
maybe,
but they were just like part of who I was. But when I was in my early 40s, the wheels fell off my health. I had like a major health crisis. And that is when everything opened up. Like all of a sudden I could be in touch with other realities. I could do one of the first things I was able to do was channel messages. But everything just shifted. And the other thing that was significant about that time, probably the most significant thing about that time, even though there were these very cool things that were happening, was my ability to connect with peace, my ability to really feel that sense of peace and connect with peace. And I think that that's still one of the things I do best is to share that sense of peace. So whether it's in my readings, my coaching, channeling, or at the retreats. So that's a little bit more about me. I don't know that I have it that much on my website about that, but it will be in my book, When the Wheels Fell Off.
I love a good wheel fall off. So what you just said, do you, maybe you don't, do you ever feel like sometimes when a person like comes into a gift like that, it's always stimulated from like a life crisis? I feel like whenever But
this is what I was thinking, because I was thinking that last night. I honestly feel like God, or whatever you want to say, was like, whoa, you're not quite doing what you're supposed to do. And because I was running a lot of marathons, like that was my thing. I had 3 young kids running marathons, and I was just going and exhausted. And one of the things that happened first physically is I got slow.
You became my people.
So I just slowed down, and soon I couldn't run at all. And so I think that's I don't know. I mean, I think, did I have to slow down like like slow down to receive.
Oh, for sure you did.
This, right?
Like God or the powers that be was like, I need to get your attention, and this is how I will do it. I'm going to rock your normal life and shift it in the biggest way possible.
And it was like it's the craziest thing. And then one other thing that I think is interesting is, so I had to go to Cleveland Clinic because the people in Anchorage couldn't figure it out. And one of the things about it was my copper levels were really, really low. And if you think about copper, what does it do? It's used in all electric, right? Isn't that weird? And my copper levels were so low for it, without a known reason. Isn't that weird? And my whole thing was like the neurotransmitter, like it was the weirdest thing, and it affected my heart and everything. Craziest thing.
Yeah.
But here we are. Here we are.
On the other side of the adventure.
I have recalibrated so that the wheels are not still falling off the bus. Thank God.
We put all the wheels back on, and we're ready to talk manifesting, which I love. Who doesn't love a good manifesting? But I will say that I think kids are natural manifestors.
Yes.
Just innately. I've got 3 kids. Polly's got 3 kids. We've seen them from day one. Shocker. But you see how they just make things happen, and they're not putting it like, now as an adult, we've overanalyzed it. We've put all these labels and steps and made it way too complicated. And watching a kid make things happen for themselves is almost life-changing. It just shows you how it was innately in us until we lost it for whatever reason.
I totally agree. I love that you brought up that we've made it too complicated, right? Like much of life we've kind of complicated, but really the idea of manifestation, because you're so right. Like before we had the label or the term or the popular thing about manifestation, people were just living their life and not thinking. It shifted, right? There was a shift. But here's something that I wanted to bring up. One of the things that I think is most important about manifestation, because you're right, we are constantly manifesting. We are constantly in communication with the universe, constantly in communication with everything around us, right? And so if our mindset, for example, if we're angry all the time, anything we're manifesting is not going to have that little spark of love, right? It's
correct.
Still, you could want the castle, you could manifest the castle, but there'd still be some anger, whatever. So I think mindset is so important, as well as if substance abuse. If you are manifesting when you're knocking back a lot of cocktails or whatever substance of choice, guess what you're manifesting? It's not very clear.
Interesting.
A little crazy.
Yeah. Yes. I didn't think about it like that, but you're correct. Like because your vibe that you're riding when you're calling things in is like attracts like. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's very much like how you said, like with kids, they are manifesting, they're in the flow of life. And so really thinking about our mindset that's why I believe it's one of the most important things in terms of successful manifestation. I mean, successful if you want, like, if you have the dream life or whatever, your Jeep Wrangler, whatever it is that you're trying to get, whatever it is, it's that mindset is probably one of the most important things. And so that's when you can hire a mindset coach, get a therapist, get whatever. Because if you're angry or pissed off all the time, not going to serve you well. Right.
And you're usually angry or pissed off because of something you're thinking about. Like it's just constantly in your head. And the idea, I mean, how bare bones basic is it to be like, oh, we'll just stop thinking about that. Well, that would solve the problem. But to get to that point takes some coping skills and some strategy. But I wanted to tell you about the best manifesting story I've seen in the last 5 years or so. There is a local shoe store called Shoe City, if you will. And so my youngest and she is just a happy, sparkly, rainbow glitter farter, amazing. She's just the happiest little thing. So we go into the store and she's getting a pair of white Converse, like no big deal, just white Converse. But she keeps looking at these other like bright colors that would match nothing. And she's sixth grade at this point. And she says, this is where we go to get the shoes because it's right by a Garage Pilates studio. But when you check out, there's this wheel of fortune behind and they'll be like, would you like a spin? You don't get to touch it, but they spin it for you. And so it always lands on like $20 off your next purchase. But there's one where you can get a free pair of shoes. And of course, it has to be the same price or below what you've purchased. So she chooses her white Converse. We go up, we pay for them. And then, would you like a spin? Yes, please. Spins it. Hits free shoes. In the history of all the shoe shopping I've ever done there, I've never seen this happen. The woman behind the counter gets excited and screams. And then two people working are like celebrating. And one of them said, I've never seen this happen before. And I looked down at my daughter and she was like, oh, I knew I'd get them. I really wanted the purple ones too. Just so matter of fact. She was not surprised. She had expected fully once she saw the purple and I was telling her, no, you got to get the white. Maybe next time she thought, well, clearly I'll just spin and I'll take care of this problem. So simple, so young, so positive, so just knowing and trusting. And we walked out.
I love
Did she wear the purple shoes? Not that much, but that's a different story. At least she got them.
But I love that. But I think part of that is the fact that I think that she wasn't that attached to winning or to getting the purple shoes, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's some of the difficulties can arise when we are attached to it has to be this way, it has to look this way. Because I'm sure that you have had and I have had and most people have had, when we get the answers to our prayers, if you will, they don't necessarily come like flop into the driveway looking exactly how we want it. It's kind of like, you get a piece here, you get a clue here, you get right. It's like comes in little pieces, and you have to be okay with how it rolls in. And typically it does roll in to me, sometimes it does feel like a little clue and then another, right? And then you finally get to the perfect thing, better than what you asked for. Mm-hmm.
So releasing the attachment, I think, is a vital step in the whole process of manifesting. So I've contrived a list of 5 things, and I'm curious to see your feedback on this. And of course, you have, I'm trying to go bare bones basic with this. There's a couple other things that we were chatting about off camera that you added to it, and I'm interested to hear more. But I think step 1 is, what do you think about this? To set super clear intentions, just to state precisely what you're after.
I do agree with that, but I also, here's the thing. I think that you have to be aware of, yes, I want a brown Mercedes, I'll say. Yes, okay. Right, or whatever it is. But I also believe that it's just as important to have kind of this dreamy feeling and let that brown Mercedes morph into something else. Like, dream about it. Maybe that brown Mercedes, you imagine you're driving it to the beach and you're on the beach and you feel so good. Let that brown Mercedes morph into something else. So I do think, yes, have the intention, but I think follow that intention and see if it takes you somewhere else. See if there's something greater than just the brown Mercedes.
Okay. So I love that you said that, because I also feel like on the opposite of manifesting like wonderful, good goals and things we want, there's also the manifesting of things we don't so much want just because we think about them. Yes. So when you kind of play with it and think about that brown Mercedes a lot, it allows you to flow with it, and maybe it changes color and shape and everything. But if we're thinking about something negative and maybe it doesn't come to us right away because it's not that we're honed in on it. So I guess what I'm saying is it's a blessing that you don't just think about something and it happens, because we have to really control our mindset and stay kind of dialed in on the positive of it.
Well, and for example, when I did those readings last weekend, one of the people asked about, and she wasn't aware of this, but she was such a good manifester. And the reason she was such a good manifester is because When she wants something, she just brings it into like her heart. She just brings it into her heart and just percolates it in like that dream energy. And it's only going, I mean, it's just like, it makes her such a beautiful, remarkable person, but it's also going to really help her get these high vibrational things that she wants, because everything that she wants, she cares for it so lovingly, like a baby, that it's going to be impossible for her to not receive beautiful things.
Oh, I love that for her.
It's
That's
so sweet.
awesome.
And it really, it comes out in her personality also, because she just keeps all these lovely little dreams inside of her. And I love that for her. So however that her dreams manifest or show up, it's going to be better than she imagined, because she puts so much there. They are really just percolating in love, and it's so wonderful.
I love that. So it makes it even more fun. So we could say, set your clear intentions in a dreamy way and just hold it into your heart. I like that.
Yes. Oh, well, okay. And here's another thing. And you know that I'm a big believer. Like, I will write my stuff down. That's another thing. Write them down.
Yep.
But be okay with modifying them. Like, have your pen. Like, I have my stuff that I do my affirmative prayer. Have your pen. If you need to edit. Right? Because, I mean, tomorrow you may wake up and decide, oh, I really don't like brown. I'd like to have an orange Mercedes. Yes. Who cares?
Which is even bigger. That's the part of life. Like, that's the point of life. That's the process of making decisions and upgrading. And I tell my kids this all the time, like, don't be afraid to make a decision today and then make a different one tomorrow. That is what life is for. If you're consistently making the same decision, is there growth in that? Is there any, like, check yourself, reassess what you're doing and what you're thinking and where you're going? Like, you got to reassess. And then maybe you're making a different choice, which is the point of the process of life.
Okay, I have something that I was thinking. And so, Kristin, I'm sure that you've been around people who, if you ask them, well, what do you want in your life? What's your dream? What do you want to be? And they're like, I don't know. I don't know what I like. I mean, literally, there are people that will be like, I don't know what I like. And so if that happens to be where you are right now, you don't know what you like, you don't know what you want in your life, you don't know what you manifest. We've all been there. We've all been at a block where it's really hard for us to see our future, especially in times of stress. Here's how you can shift that a little bit to start gearing up your manifestation again. Just start allowing yourself to dream or to think about whatever you want. Just start thinking about different things. So say you're home, you're not happy, you're just raising kids, and you're like, I need something else. Whatever. I mean, that probably resonates with somebody somewhere. Or, you're a farmer and you want to break out of farming, whatever it is. So while you're doing your tasks, start thinking about what it would be like to be sitting on the beach. What would it be like if I went back to college? What would it be like if I did X, Y, and Z? Start allowing yourself to think about that stuff, because it breaks your thoughts up. It breaks your thought patterns. It's just throwing different scenarios in there and making it easier for you to one day actually see, yes, there is something besides being a farmer or being whatever you want to do.
And I like your question of what would it be like too, because then you really get a chance to put yourself in there and like absorb it from every sensory aspect that it could be. Like, you really get to pretend like you're there and see if it works for you.
Yeah, because
I like that strategy.
Have you been, Kristin, in a place where you're like so stressed, you're like, I can't even see what next week is going to look like?
Oh, yes. Polly, I have.
Right. And so when you're like that, it's really difficult to say, well, what do you want? Or what makes you happy? It's really difficult because at that time it's like, I'm just surviving today.
Yes. Oh, completely. And if this resonates with you and you'd like to call in, we can talk you through a couple of strategies on setting some goals and getting some clarity. 1-800-930-2819. Give us a call, talking all things manifesting. Okay, step 2, and you kind of touched it a little bit, but I think after you get your intentions and you kind of percolate on them in a dreamy way, then practice gratitude, which is beneficial for a variety of reasons. For me, it sets I just feel like I vibe a little bit higher. Like it lifts my mood when I start thinking about all the things I'm grateful for. When I'm working out and it gets real tough, and instead of being like, oh my God, this is so hard, my legs are so heavy, I think, I am so grateful I can move my legs. I'm so grateful for this cute workout shirt. I'm so grateful that I'm standing upright. I'm so grateful for my health. Like trying to just pull it back and find some gratitude within there, and it elevates your game, I think.
I love it. And you're right. I mean, gratitude, having a higher vibration is so important when we are manifesting, because we're always manifesting. And so certainly we want to manifest things that are of a higher vibration. Yes.
Oh, completely. Yeah. And it makes you really aware of all the positive aspects of your life, which you do have so much to be grateful for. Like we can find one thing to be grateful for every day at minimum.
At minimum. Okay. What do you think about talk about your dreams, your goals, what you're manifesting, or not talk? What's your
So this I think is not quite a black and white issue. I am very selective with who I share certain dreams with, certain goals with. There are people that will poo-poo your ideas because it's not planted in their heart. It's not their goal. It's not their dream. It's not meant for them. So they're not going to get it. And if you share if you're fired up and you are like lit for this goal and you know it to be, and you can feel it and it's coming to you, and you share it with someone and they rain on your parade, then it inevitably could affect you and derail you from that forward movement. So I'm super selective on who I share what with, because I'm very influenced by other people's vibes. So I have to be really careful with that. So
I agree.
Particular.
Know your audience. And it's not only that, I think, so know your audience, but also don't waste your energy. Like if you have, 100 joules of energy, is that correct? So you have 100 joules of energy. And if you use 97 of them up talking about what you're going to do, that's not very good, because then you're not saving all that energy for coming in and percolating it and dreaming and thinking about how you're going to make it come true. You just talked about it in an offhand way to a bunch of people, and that is not putting that power to good use, if that makes sense.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. There's a certain amount of oomph that you have dedicated to that. And let's put it, you know what? I heard an interview with Beyonce once, and she said, don't talk about it, be about it. Like when you're setting a goal. And I loved that, because it's so much of a way to be rather than an action step. Like you have to be about it.
Yeah. I love having I love collaborating, and I write a little, but you still, you're not, well, you are collaborating with everybody and the universe, but I'll say you're not, right? We really are, but let's not, I don't know. I do totally agree with you. Be very selective about who you're sharing your dreams with and how much energy you're putting into that sharing, because collaborate with the universe, collaborate with God, collaborate with your angels and with your guides.
Yes, that's absolutely. And then it's always, and then you get that positive reinforcement in the form of like assistance, universal assistance, rather than any talk. Okay, so we've got set your clear intentions in a dreamy kind of way. Step 2, practice gratitude. And then step 3, visualize your success. So I kind of feel like that's revisiting step 1 almost, where you pull your dream back in, but it's almost like you set your intentions in a dreamy way, and then you go into gratitude, and then you visualize what would it be like if, you're living your best life on the beach or whatever the goal would be. And you just kind of really put yourself into it. And I think this is where the change happens. Like if you want to modify your dream, you're like, oh, okay, I'm sitting in the sand. Well, I don't like the white sand. I like it more stones by the water. And you just kind of really fine tune it in a very natural, flowy way. Nothing's forced, but preferences are made. What are your thoughts on that as step 3?
Okay, I like it. And we know that many athletes do the visualization.
Yes.
But I also like the way we're kind of talking about this in a very flowy, dreamy, gratitude, visualizing. Just, if there's anybody out there listening that doesn't like to meditate, this is actually a meditate. You can bring this into this can be your meditation, right? Mm-hmm. This can be a very dreamy, easy flowing way of visualizing your success, of thinking about your goals. And it can be very, it can take you to a different realm, if you will.
Yes. And I think you touched on a key point, like meditation has kind of a bad rap for being boring and very structured and very, I don't know, almost limiting and rigid and painful. And it doesn't need to be. It is, I think meditation is very much about individualized, like a walking meditation. You don't have to sit there with your eyes closed. Like you can walk and absorb like your surroundings. I love a good walk on the beach meditation. I feel like I'm so connected after that. So to meditate and kind of pull this in is a great way to, I think, accelerate your manifesting.
Yeah, it's less distracted, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the key components of this, is doing this where you're not distracted. So I love that.
Yes.
And it's easy. I mean,
yeah.
Keep it easy and fun.
Make it easy. Okay, now here's where when I was making the 5 steps. Step 4, take inspired action, which comes with a certain amount of confidence. It's almost like you have to do the other 3 steps so you gain the clarity and you feel some confidence, and you kind of, I think this is where the momentum starts to roll, and it feels like the action is very natural. It doesn't ever feel forced to me. It always feels like the natural next step. Like maybe it's not the jump to the top of the staircase, but it's a very natural, oh, this is the next step I take, and oh, this. And like Polly said, it's got to be fun along the way. Like it's not just about getting to the end, it's enjoying the journey. When we went to Hawaii with my family, my mom and dad are notorious for like being, God bless them, just very difficult on road trips. Like, eye on the prize, we're going to make good time, we got to get there. And so we're in Maui, and the road to Hana is there. Hana is not like the best place to be. It is the road to Hana. And my sister, they wanted to do this. And so finally she said, in only a way that she can say, she was like, you guys understand, it's called the road to Hana. It's a journey. It's a trip of stop and look at this and look around and enjoy the trip. It's not about the destination. And although she was just being nitpicky about a drive we were about to take, I thought, man, that is a little bit more prolific than just about a little road trip. But that's the way it is. It's got to be a fun journey.
And it's almost time for us to take our break.
Okay.
But I really believe we have to have some inspiration. So I want inspired action. Like, it doesn't have to be like you said, making it to the top of the mountain, but something that you are inspired to do. You feel it. You feel like I'm so excited. I want to try this. Who knows how it's going to turn out? I'm so excited. Inspiration is key on the other side of the veil also, in terms of like how I want to experience this, and then you experience it. We can do it here. Inspiration is key for manifesting. Mm-hmm. You have to trust your intuition. So there's a certain amount of trust that goes along with it. Yes. And just feel inspired, feel excited, feel that fire, feel that I want to get up and go, right? Feel that I want to experience it. I want to know what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that we're now like moments away from a break. Moments away. But when we come back, we will continue discussing manifestation. And we would love a caller. If you guys have any questions, manifestation stories, or psychic adventure stories. Yes. 1-800-930-2819.
Hey guys, welcome back to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures. I'm Kristin. I'm here with Polly. We are talking all things manifesting. If that interests you, if you have any questions, we would be happy to take your call, 1-800-930-2819. We've kind of gone through, just to catch you up, we've gone through a couple of steps we feel are key in manifesting. Set clear intentions, but in a dreamy way. Practice gratitude, which would you call that affirmative prayer as well? Do you think that falls into the same umbrella?
I mean, affirmative prayer is a way of gratitude, but affirmative prayer, I think, is a little bit different because it's saying thank you for what you've already received. Mm-hmm. So perhaps I want my purple shoes. Thank you for these amazing purple shoes. They feel so good on my feet. Oh my God, I'm walking on the trails even with lighter feet. I'm so excited to show my friends my purple shoes.
Okay. I like that. That kind of encompasses several steps right there. Because the next one is visualize your success.
Yes.
Right there. And then right before break, we went into take inspired action, which is all about trusting that your intuition will tell you what the next best step is in that direction. Okay, now the fifth and final step I had here in your bare bones basic manifesting is release attachment. And I think that's what, when we were talking about my daughter's shoe manifestation, that's what she just so naturally did. Like, oh, I really want those purple shoes. And then life would have gone on had she not gotten the shoes. So I feel like her attachment wasn't that intense or desperate, but yeah, it would have been nice to have them.
It's such a funny, so attachment is definitely a buzzword right now, right?
Okay.
Like, it's like a Buddhist, if you're attached, you're going to suffer, right? If you're attached to those purple shoes, you will suffer one way or another. You're going to outgrow them or whatever.
Oh.
It's such an interesting word. And I guess I think for manifestation, we have to have enough skin in the game to want something, right? We don't want the leftovers of life. We have to have enough skin in the game to at least be able to say, yes, I want, right? Mm-hmm. To receive, right? Like maybe there's somebody that is like, wants to have this amazing, oh my God, this is such a good one, wants to have this amazing relationship, right? But they don't take inspired action. They don't go out of their house. Mm-hmm. They don't believe that they're worthy of this amazing relationship. So there's all these little components of it. And the attachment word is just a little bit, I think it's almost like you have to have it in a forgiving way. Like, I know, I'm trying
to think of another, like a one word that would be good, like release. I can't think of another word that would be a proper substitution.
Yeah, every time, and I really do believe, like the space in between, like say, like somebody's trying to get into the college of their dreams and they're waiting, and that time in between can be so uncomfortable, right? You've done all the steps, you've done everything, and you're waiting, and it can be so uncomfortable. So that's the tricky part, is in that pause of just receiving and just being open to receiving whatever, right? Yes. Whatever high vibrational thing you're open to receiving. And maybe that's the better way of looking at it, is you're receiving high vibrational experiences. And that's how you have to look at it, right?
Yeah, that feels better to me. That, like the idea that desire is going to come to you in perfect timing, and you just, again, enjoy the ride getting there. But yeah, releasing a desperate need, because sometimes it can be that. Sometimes, people want something so badly that it doesn't become a fun manifesting. It becomes like a desperate need. And then
absolutely
into it.
How many times have you been waiting for like on my first one, pregnancy, when I had an amnio, we had to wait 10 days for it or whatever. And that's except for I did have an amazing experience, but potentially those 10 days could have been because they thought that there was a medical anomaly. Those 10 days could have been so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. And so but it's faith also. So it's so maybe to replace attachment with faith.
Well, I like that better. That sounds good. Yeah. And that's what we need. We've got the trust in, knowing that you'll know what action to take, and then the faith in knowing that it's all here, it's coming, it's divine timing, and all that stuff. Okay, I like that. What do you think about the idea? Oh, wait, go ahead.
Magic. You have to have magic.
You
have to bring magic into your, we want magic in our life, but we also have to bring magic into our manifestation.
Yes. So that makes it more fun too.
It does. And so whether that's like doing it with crystals, or you set up like your, have like a ceremony, like a new moon ceremony, whatever, bring some type of ceremony and magic into it, because it keeps it fun. And it also integrates it into your life.
Yes. And which it's got to be a part of your life. It's so funny. We were talking about, how so many people just haphazardly go through life. And I think I probably, when you're younger, you're like, oh, I hope this happens today. And, you're kind of co-creating and all that stuff going along. But how many times have you just gone along for the ride when you're traveling? That's when I think I do my most specific manifesting day by day, is if I know I'm going to get on a plane, I put my request out. I visualize it going so perfect, like all the travels, everything so good, and put a lot of effort into like an easy day of travel. And I think it's because I've had not so easy days of travel that it's really important to me now to go along with it smoothly.
Well, and I know we have to pull our cards in just a minute.
Yes.
But I did want to say, in terms of manifesting and how important our mindset is and everything, I also believe that our experience on earth is in many different layers. And so there are some karmic experiences that come into what we manifest in this life. And so some things that do occur in our life, if we want to call them destined lessons or whatever, and we get to choose how we're reacting to them, for sure. But there are going to be some things that we manifest, that we are manifesting this dream life. But I also do believe that there are some things that just kind of are a karmic lesson, right? And it might be intertwined with what we're manifesting. But again, regardless of what the karmic lesson is, regardless of talking about all of this manifestation, if you are working with high vibrations, if you are thinking about, really thinking about your mindset, working with high vibrations, faith, a connection with the loving universe, whatever unrolls or whatever rolls out for you, whatever, you're going to be able to handle it with grace. It doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. We all have difficult situations, but it's still going to be, you can have a lesson and have it be less explosive, if you will, if that makes sense. So does that make sense, Kristin?
It does. It's almost like you have to accept that there are certain things that are going to happen, and you have the power to react in however you want to react. And it doesn't always have to be a battle and a negative interaction. It can always be a learning.
Right, because I just wanted to bring that up because I think some people will, say they get in a car accident and they're like, oh my God, I manifested this. I think look at it not just in terms of what you're manifesting day to day, but also look at we do have some karmic lessons, karmic opportunities. And so I think that's an important piece of manifestation, because there's so many different layers to our experience on earth. It's not just manifestation, it's not just karmic, it's not just psychic, it's not right. There's so many different layers, so many different levels on how we interact with the universe.
I think it's important to acknowledge that too, because life isn't always, rainbows and bubbles. Sometimes it does throw you for a curveball, and inevitably we're asking why. And there's so many, like you said, layers. There's so many layers to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so should we pull, did you have anything else you want to talk about in terms of manifestation?
Not really. I was going to get your opinion on one thing.
Fire away.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm always fascinated with the different ways that other spiritual thought leaders kind of explain things. So as I was contemplating, like, what would be some basic steps for manifesting, I started doing a deep dive and just listening to a lot of other strategies. And what do you think about the idea that say you're manifesting $11 million or better? What do you think about the concept or the thought that does exist and you just haven't connected to that part of that, to that realm yet? Like, it does exist in an alternate universe, and it's there and it's already to be experienced, but you just haven't connected with it yet.
Well, I do agree with it. I agree with that concept for the most part. Like I do know, like, many people want peace or compassion in the world. And I know that world exists, right? I know that this world of peace and compassion for all of us is available to each of us right now, without a doubt. I know that's available. I think it's interesting. Yes, you have the $11 million or whatever it is that you want to connect with. But I also feel like it's more than just the number. Put more than just the number. Think about, what is that going to give me? What will my life look like? Because it's really like, you could be in a different reality where you have $11 million. That $11 million doesn't mean anything. But how about, let's look at it. If I have $11 million, my life looks and feels like this. That reality is waiting for you.
Interesting, which brings us back to step 3, visualize your success. Like, kind of in that dreamy way, just think about what would it be like if,
And to really follow it. I mean, I think that it's important for us to follow, why do I want this? What is it going to bring into my life, right? Because that's what matters. It's the feeling of it. It's that's what you really want. Having that number in your bank doesn't do it. It's the experiences. It's the way you feel. It's what doors it opens. It's all that stuff. That reality exists for you.
I love that. Yes. Good.
So let's meet there. Let's meet in that reality.
Let's do it. Let's have a play date.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun.
What cards are you using today?
The Angels Tarot. I've been using them for a bit.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to go with the Tarot of Light.
I love that.
With the butterflies.
Very nice.
What question should we ask?
How about just the energy of the week, knowing that if people listen to this in 2025, April 2025 or November 2026, doesn't matter. You'll still find something that resonates with you.
You found us for a reason.
Yes. Do you want to go first?
Well, I just had a card jump out.
Oh, you did?
Which I love it when that happens, because I always feel like it's just a little bit more meaningful. What was it? One time I had a card jump out several times. I think I was with you when that was happening. All right. Let me see here. Ace of Stars creation. Okay, so here's what I got. Ace of Stars creation. And so I love how flowy this is. I also love that it's creation, which I feel like goes with manifesting, obviously, and go with the flow. This is a huge message of relax into it, go with the flow, stop forcing things, be clear on what you want. I'm seeing this is the goal, eye on the prize. This is what you want. Is it a certain lifestyle? Is it a certain feeling? What do you want? And then you really marinate on that and then kind of drop beneath it and just go with the flow and just really almost like you visualize yourself on a river and the current is pushing you to your goal, but you just don't really have any control and you don't care. You trust that you're going to get there and you're just going with the flow, feeling relaxed into it and joyful about the lullaby of the ride there, just riding the clear water and enjoying it. I love this card.
Best. I love that. I love the idea of being on a river trip.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go with it.
Yeah. You can't do anything else. You could fight it, but you're still going forward down the river. So why not just relax into it? A lazy river, if you will.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is for the energy of the week, and I have 2 cards. They're both kind of powerful cards. So the first
Did they both jump out, or did you specifically draw 2?
You know how I get them, right? I just like playing with them. I just like go like this until it feels like I should pull it.
Okay.
I don't do anything fancy. Nothing fancy.
That's okay. Well,
nothing fancy over here. But okay, here's oh my God. Okay, and here's the other thing. Like when I do my cards, I also look at like, okay, what's the first thing that I see? So I love this. It's the world. It's flowing energy. I love there's like this peaceful, almost musical balance. But here's what's really interesting. I think that this week, people have to pay attention to how they're staying balanced, like what's balancing their life. So I think the balance is really important. And here's the other thing. I also believe that this week, pay attention to your feet, ankles, and calves, like feet, ankles, and calves, because this is so interesting. So if anybody listening hears this, reach out to us. Feet, ankles, and calves to me feel like they're a little susceptible to something. I know we go into Pisces tomorrow, and I know Pisces is feet, and so that could be related to this, like feet, body part. But I do feel like balance is really important. Pay attention to what you're what you're balanced on, how you're balanced, all of that stuff. Probably your checkbook, if you have a checkbook. I don't know if anybody has a checkbook anymore. Okay, and then here's the other one is the Chariot, and I think this one's really interesting because I look at like the guy doesn't look super happy. No. Back, he doesn't look super happy. And the two Phoenix/dogs, I don't know what they are. They seem a little awkward to me. And so again, it feels like people have to really get there, like figure out the direction they want to go and get right, because there's this little bit of awkward balance this week. And so it's really important to, I don't know if it's like letting go of the reins and let things settle down a little bit before we make a decision is really what it feels like. And so that's psychically what it feels like. It's like let go of the reins a little bit, let things settle in, and then make a decision. Because if you're holding on to the reins too tight, there's this real awkwardness and things are not going to go smoothly. Like people have you're going to get like people wanting to go this way, somebody else wanting to go this way, and you're not going to move at all. So if you can step back and let go, that will be the key to your success this week. And watch your feet, ankles, and calves.
Yes. And I feel like we should build on this foot situation. Like, it seems like there needs to be more mobility in the ankles and feet, like ankle rolls. Just get the lymph flowing. I feel like things are stagnant in the feet, and there needs to be like if you can walk it out, great. A nice heel strike and toe push, that would be awesome. But if you're stuck at a desk or you're sitting for a long period of time, just ankle rolls and flex and point, like get some mobility down there to get the lymph and the blood pumping.
Yeah, those little spiky balls.
Love them.
Are so good to like roll in the bottom of their feet. They kind of hurt, but they're so good. Okay, so we have a little bit of time. So you shared a manifestation story about your daughter. Do you have a favorite manifestation story about you personally?
I don't have like one particular thing. I just really love my manifesting practice. And I know that I'm a decent manifester now, but I feel like I had to get really specific about it because I was one who could potentially go through life haphazardly, like not thinking about it. So when I say these things, it's because that's who I was. And that's kind of how, maybe I wanted something and just kind of thought about it and it happened easily. But now I have to be very specific. And I kind of follow those steps in not such a bullet point way, but in kind of like a vibey way. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I guess my biggest lesson, and I guess it's been a lifelong lesson, but I'll say that I've really learned it in the past 18 months or so, is when I have something that I'm manifesting, and it's like a big thing, to trust, like see the many possibilities, to trust in it unfolding. Like if I believe, okay, it has to look this way, it has to happen on this date, it has to this is how it's got to go, like a train on schedule. Well, guess what? It's not a train on schedule. And so when it looks like the train is being derailed, you have to just literally be Okay. And if you need to reach out and talk to somebody and be like, oh my God, the train just derailed, talk to somebody and just breathe it out and wait to see how the train gets back on the tracks.
And I think it's important too to like compare or observe your growth. So what you recommended one time about 7 years ago is that I write down about 5 to 10 goals of different parts of my life, like all different parts, like where I want to live, career-wise, spiritually, socially, family, all of it. And so I wrote it down. And then I wrote it down with John, and then we reread it the next year on New Year's Eve. We were like, oh my gosh, let's get out our goal paper and read it. And I am not kidding. Everything but one item was like an obvious check mark, to the point where we had relocated to a new neighborhood where we wanted to be. And I didn't even think about it being like, oh my gosh, we've manifested like these 8 goals. But when you look at it and it's that like in front of you, it changed me. I was like, this is definitely the process that I will be following moving forward.
It's so cool. And we do that. Like I started doing that with my kids like a long time ago. And they've all done sports, but the youngest one still is very involved in the sport. And from as long as I can remember, he would on his sticky pads, like put his race times that he wanted on the numbers, and he'd put them on this, like, so in his room, even up on the ceiling. So he would wake up and he'd see the time.
Oh my gosh. That's good focus.
Yeah. And what can we say about that kid right now?
He's focused.
He's focused, but he has been doing that because that's how they were raised.
I love that. That's so good.
He's definitely more focused than me. I'm lazily focused.
Hey, that's the best way to be. You know what I do want to talk about before we're done here? Yes. We have, 5-ish minutes left. The retreat in April. Yes,
we have one spot left. And super excited. It's in Sedona, Arizona. It's on April 5th, starts in the evening of April 5th, ends in the morning of April 8th. It is eclipse. It's a new moon eclipse. And so super excited about that. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to my website, which is pollywirum.com, and look under retreat. My website is brand new, and brand new. It went live yesterday. But there was this morning, I know you haven't seen it, but this morning I found a few little things that were not quite whatever. So, but check out my new website, pollywirum.com, and also psychic classes. And that's where you're going to see Kristin also on Sunday nights on Zoom.
Yes, I love those psychic development classes. They give me life. They're a perfect way to wind up the weekend and begin the next week. If you want to find out more about me, you can check out my website, garagepilates.net. And follow us on Instagram. I'm Garage Pilates. Polly is Polly_Wirum. And then this show is at truth.wellness.psychic. And we will update you on all upcoming events, the classes Polly was speaking about, the retreats, topics that we're going to touch on here. And if you have any requests, if you want us to, like today with manifesting, we have some ideas what we'll be touching on in 2 weeks when we're back on. But if you have any requests, any questions you have, any topics you're dying to know about, let us know. Reach out either via our websites or through Instagram.
Yes. And you can also, if you're more comfortable just sending us a question and we can address it on air.
That's perfect too. Yes.
And we love doing that. Whatever. We just love getting together and talking about spirituality. But you know what we do need to do? I'd say the next time, Kristin, we need to share how you and I met.
Okay. We'll touch on that.
That was divine intervention.
It really was. I love divine intervention. That's what we should discuss.
Well, we do have some good ones. Yeah.
We have several examples that are a little bit entertaining.
Yes. Very cool. Okay, so I hope everybody has a great week. What are you going to be working on manifesting this week, Kristin?
I am going to be manifesting. I have a new project at the studio where we are sponsoring a fundraiser, and I have some little growth opportunities within that for the Youth Center, our favorite nonprofit. We'll be working on growing that project.
Very cool.
How about you?
I'm manifesting selling my house.
Woohoo!
So maybe We meet in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Let's
I
find
cannot
out.
wait.
In 2 weeks, let's see. I have been going out to my gratitude circle made of rose quartz. I take my flowers, sprinkle the petals in there. I do. Oh my God, I love doing it. And it's like, it's my practice that makes me feel like I go in there and just thank God for everything.
Thank you, God.
I love doing that. I love
That feels good. With gratitude, we are signing off. Truth, wellness, and psychic adventures. Thank you for joining us. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye. Thanks for calling into Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures. We are psychic life coaches, Polly and Kristin, taking your calls at 1-800-930-2819 every second and fourth Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. To work with us individually, visit pollywirum.com and garagepilates.net. Follow us on Instagram at truth.wellness.psychic and at Polly_Wirum and at Garage Pilates. We can't wait to share the next episode with you.